Nevada, Michigan may be the only Big Ten team in the Sweet 16. We'll see how Maryland fares in the second half. Here, USC is out to a big start against Kansas. 12-3 Trojans.
And they're doing it on the defensive end. Kansas only 1 for 11 from the field. The length giving all types of trouble to the Jayhawks. But of course, Garrett.
See.
And Bird, right now, USC goes to a 2-3 zone. But Kansas, they don't have an elite sort of top-tier shot creator. So they really have to work the offense, trust each other, move the ball to create scoring opportunities or get the ball inside to McCormick.
Garrett, the jumper straight away. Attacking the goal. Taj Edey.
He's just constantly probing. Nice little hesitation there. This pace right here, USC, this is how they want to play. Get up and down the court.
And they lead by 10, 18 points in the paint. Garrett one-on-one with the big. Cross, lean, that's tough. So he was always accustomed against bigger guys and getting used to the physical play. He's listed 7 foot 215. He's giving up 35 pounds to McCormick. Floater goes.
Mark drawing all the defense that opened up that look, and Edey able to knock it down from deep.
Taj Edey came over from Santa Clara. Began his career at Southeast Missouri State. And another look for Mark. Last 10 games, they were as high as number 3 in the polls. Started the season 8-1. The loss was to Gonzaga. So their resume was terrific. And then a dip. Working around the perimeter. Abaji gives it up for Garrett. Takes the opening and hits the flipper.
Was what Bill Self told us would be the goal, but this is a feeling out process. It's something to monitor throughout this game.
No doubt, Evan. I don't think Bill Self probably wanted to use him this early when you're down 9-0. He's not a bad addition in the nose on the way to the floor. Feed inside, now back out to Abaji. Inside, McCormick draws a triple team. Harris, the scoop pass underneath to Garrett. And turnover, Kansas with Brown off the window, but the tip-in is good by Garrett. Anyway, everybody got tangled up on the baseline, so Kansas with the possession. Garrett working against Groves, against both Groves for a moment.
Eagles with a solid approach, trying to keep the ball in front, trying to limit.
Marcus Garrett, 5 to shoot now for Lightfoot. Back to Garrett. He's going to have to take it 3, whether he wants to or not. I think it was a good choice. A couple inches shorter, still out there, and he's the leading scorer in the game with 16. His brother getting a breather on the bench with 14. And the Eagles with an 8-point lead on the number 3 seed Kansas Jayhawks with 2:20 to play in the first half. Marcus Garrett takes everybody to the rack and scores.
Just
cards out there right now for the Jayhawks.
Tanner Groves won't be out of the game very long, but just a quick blow like a pit stop. Race car driving, and get him back in the game. This is a small lineup for the Eagles as well.
Garrett on the baseline.
That angle, Brad, not easy.
Three-pointer off the mark. Abaji with the rebound. Wide open Marcus Garrett buries a 3. Here lost his balance, thought he was injured, but he's okay. Just slipped on picking up that rebound. So now Kansas, if they choose, can kind of go a little more deliberately at the 5-minute mark and use a little bit of clock. Didn't think we'd say that earlier in this half. Garrett, another 3.
Back under double digits.
4.5 to play. Kansas in control right now. Harris, cross-court pass. Garrett with a heat check.
Got another one. In terms of penetration. And Harmon is really as good as there is among the guards in this league at finishing. Right up there with those great Baylor guards.
Garrett drives it, and he banks it home. Needs more off.
We asked him that yesterday. He said the problem with that is it then screws up their pick and roll defense, and he'd rather just keep it the way it's on the floor tonight. You can count on that.
for three. Hits it. Reeves, 4 on the timer. Walker from the free throw line. Oklahoma cannot buy a basket. Garrett behind the back. Floater. Yes. Garrett gets his own miss. Has basically been sliced in half. Garrett off the window.
That's good. Brown.
It was 23. It's down to single digits now for Oklahoma. They've got a lot of momentum. Garrett left alone. Knocks down the three.
And 3 of those rebounds on the offensive glass. I mean, that's just hustle and effort. He is tuned in right now for sure.
And the Jayhawks are getting out-rebounded by 4 in this game.
Good foot come over a little bit, got too flat, and that allows your defender to come over. Got to hold that angle. Seal. I mean, it was no surprise to anybody that that was the play that Kansas was going to run. And the ball was going to get in the former's hands somehow, some way. The UTEP covering it up.
Garrett hits a 3.
Taking on that defensive rebound. See what Bill Self elects to do here. Run your offense. Don't let the defense get set up. Nice.
Iowa State before they rallied to win it late, 77-72, and another missed 3.
And that's usually a rebound on the offensive end that Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua would come up with, but he didn't look like himself on that. A few times that they switch in screens that include McCormick because he can roll a smaller defender down into the post. But there's a lot of defensive versatility on this Baylor team.
Garrett going right at Chop.
Mike Schmitz is the best talent evaluator I know, and his word is the gospel to me. But while we were discussing the pro prospects, Flo Thamba has had a big impact in the last few plays. And getting that second foul, now he picks up a foul that I'm saying.
Teague short from the elbow.
What a nice job in transition by both Mitchell and Teague to stop the ball and then switch that play.
But then Garrett keeps going.
They were arguing and fighting over defense rather than fighting over shots, as the stereotype is of some basketball players. But they're competitive guys, and I think Shaka Smart had said to us there are a lot of stressors right now for players everywhere. That's not an excuse for things. They had a players-only meeting, and competitive people have issues.
And we're seeing it on the scoreboard.
They're starting to heat up. I agree. And in that first game, David McCormick was kind of taken out of the game by Jericho Sims as well. And Kansas is a much better team now than they were then. But right now, Texas is showing a lot more fight than they showed in the first half. Much more alert on both ends of the floor and attacking on both ends.
McCormick out of a double team finds Garrett.
Shooting the basketball at times during the year for both these clubs has been a struggle. But I mean, look, Texas Tech has scored a lot more than they did in the past. They were 70 points and better in 10 of their games.
McCormick bullets one underneath to Garrett.
Exactly, Tim. Did I read it like the way you told me? I think I did. Former Stanford Hall of Famer. Away. It looked like Kansas was ready to put them away, and yet they show their resilience and their toughness, which reflects their coach, their leader. Texas Tech didn't have to defensively really challenge them on each possession. Oh, that is a drive. Great drive to the goal.
McCormick gets caught in the corner.
What a nice pass.
Bryce Thompson. That won't go. Christian Brown able to snatch the loose ball.
50-50 balls. Kansas coming up with them, and that usually leads to the winning locker room.
Marcus Garrett weaves his way to a floater for Pacific on ESPN+.
And one of my best friends is Valdez, Mike Valdez, one of my financial brokers, and he's agreeing, but he doesn't have his kind of boxing skills. That's the real Valdez.
Garrett in the lane, floats one. That's good.
What sticks out in my mind as I look at that Steve Mikhailuk layup.
Something tells me that Bruce Weber would agree with you on that memory.
I believe he mentioned it yesterday.
Weber calling this one of the truly special games in college basketball.
Attacking the rim, and once again, with the way Kansas State has shot the ball, you'd think Bill Self would be telling these Jayhawk defenders, we're going to close out short. Make him prove he can make a shot from the perimeter.
Just about a 10-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock to end the half. Here's Garrett. Nice touch off McCormick.
Boy, what a read. Davion Bradford trying to leg whip him into the post, and David McCormick just not having it.
13, the largest lead of the game for the Jayhawks, looking to extend that. Thompson to McCormick, back out to Garrett for three. And a rare three-point.
Is open behind him. It's a heck of a sequence for David McCormick.
And now a steal by Garrett. And he lays it in. 5 straight
positives if you can keep those guys here, in Manhattan, Kansas. Now, if they leave, then there's some real problems.
Even Bruce Weber has likened this year to the freshman years of
There's a wide open look for Abaji from the left side. Jalen Wilson keeps it alive for Kansas. Garrett with an easy drive.
They need to improve, particularly down the stretch, as they just give up too many second chance opportunities often. And particularly in the conference like the Big 12, you're not going to be able to stay in games, close them out, and win games if you can't close out defensive possessions with rebounds on the defensive end of the floor.
2-point shot there. And Kansas, they don't have 16,300 in Allen Fieldhouse this year. But they hang on to this.
Athletic.
15-footer too strong for Wilson. Offensive rebound, Brown. Marcus Garrett lays it in.
And I saw a Matthew Alexander Moncrief sighting, Bob, and he did not play on Saturday because of a foot injury, but he's out there tonight.
He's been in double figures his last 4 consecutive games that he has played as that floater.
Jalen Green and Evan Mobley at USC is also at 7 feet a really talented player. Cade is not going to fail, and he's going to be terrific around other good players. My one concern about Cade is the passivity in the first half of these games and not taking over, Bob. I grew up in this Big 12 with guys like Blake in the NBA and college. Is the difference between Spanish and Portuguese. They sound like the same language. They're 2 different sports. He will have
handle it. Cunningham turns it over.
He can get sloppy at times. He's a high dribbler. For a guy 6'8", that's not unusual.
The drive by Garrett.
First bucket of the game to West Virginia. Yep, Kansas, first time in a long time outside the top 20% since 2009. Marcus.
Oversizing up McCormick. He can palm the ball all right. Doesn't get to go, though, and Wilson gets the rebound for Kansas.
Hey, that's ATM time for Tash. I mean, he got that much time and space. Mark that up.
I was going to say, Clark, I think you were closer to Tash Sherman than any of the Kansas defenders on that one. That was
his head on the sideline. He had a big game against them earlier in the year.
So Kansas hit 5 of the last 6 to end the first half. They hit their first 3, make it 4 to begin this. Sophomore, as Ralph just mentioned, was really one of the surprise players the first 2 months of the season. Averaged 15 points, nearly 8 rebounds over the first 11.
Offensive rebound, good recovery by the Mountaineers.
Closest Kansas has been since they were down 4-2. What a pass, Brest of our CBS crew. We appreciate you hanging with us. Some audio technical issues in the first half. David McCormick misses a turnaround. It's tapped up.
Very good out of baseline, out of bounds, this team.
Here's Brown. Now Tristan Enaruna on the floor for the first time in the half. Garrett taking on.
It's been a tough go ever since the Wade and what can Brown do for you, and those guys were there at Kansas State. And even this year, and we talked about it with Coach Weber, I asked him straight up, what has been the biggest challenge, because there have been so many, of course, the pandemic, having the youth, and he said straight up, you can't.
Teams of the top 17 that between the three of them have only had one postponement. Here's Marcus Garrett. Lays it in. Finally.
It's going to really challenge, give them second opportunities. By the way, to correct the situation, Wade Houston became a coach. Allen Houston was the great player, the son. Terrific. Also was great with the New York Knicks, man. They need more Allen Houstons.
And one for Marcus Garrett. Games this season where he either has gone over from three-point land or made one. So he's had some games where he fills it up from three, and then he'll go a handful of games where that's just not the case, as Garrett lines up a triple. That goes down, and he was famous for his 6 a.m. practices. I didn't know about that until I was assigned one of his games, but it was common knowledge, obviously, in Philly, and so you're a young broadcaster. Of course you're going to go to practice. So I go to practice, and afterwards say to Coach,
DeJuan Harris is in the game, number 3 in the white. Bill Self told us he could see Harris getting more minutes than usual starting tonight. He averages 15 minutes, but here's a guy who could lighten the load on Marcus Garrett at both ends, both as a ball handler and as an on-ball defender. Here he is, Garrett, with the runner. No, the emptiness. Yeah, not even close. Yes, fans are allowed about 15% capacity, around 2,500, but it is not the full Fog experience, that's for sure. Garrett, shifting gear
to the end. The entirety of the Kansas Stars have raised their level, including with that still there by Garrett.
Marcus Garrett.
Chicken place to get chicken, and Jalen Wilson ordered catfish and got food poisoning.
Yeah, you don't do that. You don't go to Chick-fil-A or Chicken Express to get catfish.
Here's Garrett left alone for 3, and the Jayhawks.
He got hot. Right now he's a little fatigued. I think he's going to be coming out.
There's another KU deflection.
KU's defense last couple possessions, excellent.
They've had 6 deflections already, and that one leads to points off the Harris to run the point. Abaji back on. He's joined by Wilson, Garrett, and Mitch Lightfoot.
And Harris is the co-pilot of that plane that Marcus Garrett needs.
And now Marcus gets an open 3 and knocks it down right on cue.
Exact positions. Great defense right there.
That's why he was the National Defensive Player of the Year last year. And now he's doing it on offense.
And he also went to... And, Rich, we talked about it early. He has gotten better and better. And playing off the ball now allows him to free his mind to score.
He's 2 off his season high, 3 off his career high. Garrett for 3, answers.
Good ball.
In practice. Looks as smooth as an order of mac and cheese at Rudy's here in Norman.
Now you're making me hungry. A little more harassment. Oh, nice cut.
Good pass, McCormick to Garrett.
And Marcus certainly brought McCormick to the ball. And that allowed Queth to get the easy one.
Here's Jalen Wilson, 10 in blue, had a hot start to this game, but has been quiet for the most part since.
Love this intensity level both ways. Yes.
And another bucket by Marcus Garrett.
Investigation. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know if they're going to be guilty or innocent. Who knows? Who knows what the NCAA does? But the fact that that has hung over this program for 3 years now, you can tell it has affected recruiting. This is a good Kansas team. It's certainly not anywhere near the best Bill Self teams. But right now, this is
3.8 on the season.
Plays about 15 minutes a game. Good rebounder. And he's just finishing so much better this year.
Pretty nice combo at the 5 spot for Baylor with Thamba and Shamwa Chachua.
It feels like Baylor's in complete control.
Absolutely. And it was 9 when Wilson had a pretty good look at a 3. Had that shot gone down, might have really changed the tone of the game. Good cut by Garrett, and it'll go to make it a 10-point deficit for Kansas. 2016. Here's how strange this year has been. This is the first time this week that Duke and North Carolina have both been out of the rankings in the same week since December of 1982, the year after Michael Jordan left Carolina to go to the NBA.
No, it was not. It was the year after Carolina won the national championship.
Opening tap for KU against Matthew Alexander Moncrief. And it's Kansas that has the first possession of the night.
A little bit of contrast in styles, too. Look for Kansas to try to get the big fella McCormick involved here early.
And a drop
straight, as Coach Self talked about. Contrarily, the zone has given Kansas a lot of problems, with the exception of McCormick and what he's done. Yeah, it won't show up in the box score, but Boone did a great job of pushing McCormick out where he's so good with his jump hook.
Cunningham now 3 for 6 from three-point shooting. After that miss, the driving.
And try to create offense off the dribble.
3 from the corner, Walker off the mark. Chance for Kansas to make this a two-possession game if they can find some points here. Still plenty of time, over 5 minutes to go in Stillwater. Defender fell down, and Garrett flips it up.
Defense to go through McCormick.
Garrett trying to find some room on Boone, drives and scores, and it
long probing, waiting, probing the defense to get exactly what he wants in terms of execution.
Garrett trying to get past Anderson, and
there's the inconsistency of practice and reps. And losing 2 today for that particular reason. Nice little try, but they need a little more.
We crossed the 6-minute mark.
Bounce to the hook.
McCormick. Boy, the little dream shake. Missed it. Look at Garrett. Was a second-team All-American for Duke.
Oh, our partner.
It's been a minute.
Last year, Kristen Google had a super game and they lost. I really can't get McCormick established inside. It's going to have to be some attack on the perimeter.
Kansas has had a couple of long scoring droughts. Play clock is down to 7. Nice. Shot clock, Garrett. Magical finish.
Courtney Ramey is just a terrific teammate. Plays hard at both ends of the floor and has really improved from last year to this year.
For Clemson fans, they're saying Jay too soon. Just too soon.
Yeah, poor Dabo's taking a little bit of heat over that. I mean, obviously it's just one coach's poll, but it was pretty funny.
Garrett, boy, does anybody do time? Down with a rebound is Wilson. Kansas brings it back up, shooting only 33%. Have not made a 3 in the game. But yet after that drive by Garrett, they are back within 4. And again, as McNeil knocks it down, if West Virginia makes shots, they can play with everybody because they do a lot of other things really well.
You know, Bob Huggins told me McNeil's been making shots in practice and not in games, but tonight early right here in Rock Truck Jayhawk land, he's made 2. He can make 3s as well, and I'm telling you, so can Wilson. Wilson's been really a solid player all year for them.
Remember, fractured his ankle in the second year of the season last year. Was a top 100 recruit a year ago for Kansas, but a medical redshirt last year because of the ankle injury. But he's averaging about 14 points, 8 rebounds per game. Number 10 for Kansas. Garrett for 3. Yes!
Active players as well. Well, when you have games like this late in the year, Dan, one goes home, enjoys Christmas, and the other one is a little sad.
In a game that was very close for about 25 minutes. But again, that third foul on Deuce McBride that put him on the bench, that really feels like one of the big turning points of the game.
I'm going to tell you this. I came into the game believing that cover and Chibwe inside.
Texas in a game on the 2nd of January, noon Eastern, 11 Central, here on ESPN2.
And one thing, I was watching Garrett in that position play defense. You could see why he won the award as the best defensive player in America last year. He's just got a lot of more responsibilities. In fact, Bill Self told me I got to reduce his minutes a little bit. He's playing too much on the floor. We're asking a lot out of him. Earlier this year, he's battling an illness.
I tell you what, the Kansas-Baylor games are going to be fun this year. We know that.
Ooh, wow.
Garrett with a drive, and there he is.
Switching because these guys are of like size, and it's really a smaller lineup in the game for Kansas, even though that you got a big guy in Mitch Lightfoot. He's not as big as McCormick.
Nice drive. And
that's a play. You know, Shannon made a lot of great plays last year, but that's a difference this year. He's really attacking downhill more than he did last year. Just a straight line drive. That was a big time play.
Luna went to the bench. Now Garrett on the drive and lays it in. Kansas to inbound. McCormick. Back to Garrett. Driving and scoring.
But it's a set.
You know, Kansas has had, through 6 games, 4 different guys leading in scoring. So it's a balanced offensive attack. They're getting out and running right now. They're not turning the ball over. A clean start in every area for the Jayhawks, and you may want to take.
Garrett's going to try a 3. Got it. It's down to 3.
That was a fantastic look by Marcus Garrett. How about Marcus Garrett on the steal, now on the open court?
Trying to get it over the 7-footer and done. 1 time at home, and that was to Baylor. We're in a battle here with Creighton. One possession game and under 2 minutes to go. Garrett got it to fall.
Those were NBA threes at least. Boy, he's got a nice stroke. Brett Ballard loves how tough he is, how smart he is. He knows where to get the ball on the floor. He knows where to get himself on the floor, and that's not your answer. But how about that, Marcus?
I think Brett Ballard is stealing some of those inbounds play from Coach Self.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Nice block by Mitch Lightfoot.
Thompson had it rejected. Quick baseline move by Garrett.
He amazing.
Offense, and their biggest guy, Sarr, is not in the game right now. Boston with a drive, knocked away by Brown, and here come the Jayhawks, desperately looking for a bucket. Garrett with a crossover, up and in, and he becomes the...
Well, really, the kid is playing under the weather. He's really struggling with the situation right there. Good defensive anticipation.
Yep, the steal for Harris.
There are just so much space than the other players on the perimeter.
The handoff to Garrett. Garrett inside, up and in.
He looked at his teammate. That was on me. That's my mistake. And that's something John Calipari asked this young team to do. When you guys screw up, I want to hear from you. Coach, I made a mistake. And it was nice to see Brandon Boston acknowledge that on that last possession.
Yeah, the lack of passing was really a thorn in the side of John Calipari.
Position to do some damage. A little more cohesive on the offensive end, exchanging sides, crying a little bit.
Garrett maneuvering through the defense.
Boy, he's got to get some touches at this end, I think, for Kansas.
Interesting to watch McCormick. He is the lone main big on this team. Obviously, they have Lightfoot. They have some guys that can come in, but not like McCormick. There is Marcus Garrett hitting a...
Not typical of KU.
Gonzaga, 7 of its last 8 good from the field. There's Marcus Garrett. Nice take to the other side of the rim. Program. That was the 08 West Coast Conference Player of the Year.
And you were worried about him being, you know, a freshman, adjusting to this level. Nice little ball screen and slip. Nice cross.
Garrett, beautifully done. Great time. Just picked up his 3rd personal foul for Kansas. He's still out there defending. Pittsburgh.
How does he get free like that?
Yeah, that's one of the guys you can't leave open.
Number 24.
So what a take by Garrett. Strong to the rim.
Playing together for years.
Garrett strong to the rim and a foul. Pretty. In the second half, Kispert was the key with Timmy in the first half.
He just knows how to play, Kispert. You did the lane. Nice pump.
Garrett will take the three off the Enaruna feed.